Let's talk about releasing these trust account funds. Once a deal is put together, it's been fully agreed to, buyer and seller have signed the document and everyone has a copy of it. Once that happens and a deal has been consummated, it is not the broker's decisions what happens to this earnest money. It's not their choice. When the deal closes, the buyer will get that earnest money back as a credit. So if they put $1,000 down in earnest money or 10,000, that's just 1,000 or 10,000 less they will need to bring for their down payment and any closing costs they may owe to their lender. If the deal for some reason would fall apart prior to closing, the earnest money can only be released out of this trust account by written authorization from the buyer and the seller. And if they cannot mutually agree to it, they may actually have to go to some sort of mediation or court service to help figure it out. And then whatever they agree to under that element, the broker can follow those instructions in how to release the trust account. Really, the only time a broker can release trust funds is if the buyer put earnest money down with an offer when it was presented to the seller, and then that offer for whatever reason was never accepted. Then earnest money can be returned to the buyer immediately, no questions asked. And another big tip is, under no circumstances can a broker keep earnest money to maybe cover commission dollars that they've earned. So let's say we've got an agreement with a seller. The listing agreement says that they will pay a 6% commission if we bring them a $300,000 cash buyer, and we bring them a $300 cash buyer and they say, meh, I want 310. That would be a breach of contract and they would still possibly owe commission dollars. But we can't just take those trust funds, that earnest money check that the buyer has put down, to cover that 6% of $300,000. That's not our money. It belongs to someone else, correct? So we must distribute that earnest money out of the trust account according to the written authorization between buyer and seller. And then for the fraud or the breach of contract we have, rather, with our seller, we're going to have to pursue that pursue that through a different means, such as small claims court. So again, earnest money must be released by written authorization between buyer and seller.